Hello, everyone. The power of perspective behind the wheel. There were many trips that I have taken being in control of the vehicle with the client in my back seat from doing rideshare on both applications, specifically Uber and Lyft. And through them all, through the inclement weather, through the beautiful weather, through the cool customers, to the facetious clients, to the piss off clients, to the clients that didn't show up on time, through it all, there was perspective. During the drive, prior to the drive, and after the drive. The power of perspective is very rewarding because you're not comparing yourself to other individuals or other people's plights. Like I never compared myself to my clients because each individual person is their individual person and each individual plight is their plight. However, it just reiterated being grateful for my situation, my process, uh, my journey, and it also allowed me to have empathy for what the client was enduring. And I'm talking about the clients that got into my vehicle and they were going through some challenging times, some difficult times, some times where they were just low. And it wasn't something that was always said to me. It was sometimes it was just a vibe slash an energy. Sometimes it was the body language with the facial expressions. Sometimes it was even the nonverbal language when the client got in my car and just shut the door. Didn't put their seatbelt on. One way of looking at that is that they just ready for me to get them to where they need to be. Or the other side of that scenario was that they could care less. Again, it was all about perspective for me. And in perspective, in some instances, I learned. In some instances, things were reiterated to me. And this was the thing. Some people have strong wills, the fortitude to keep pushing. And some people, they have it, but they're too caught up in their current situation. And they think that it's not going to improve, right? Now, from doing these rides behind the wheel, my perspective was and is that situations come and go. They're almost like seesaws. They come up, they come down. Therefore, from a mental standpoint, one cannot really get too high or get too low. In addition, it's all about embracing the process. The process can be something very simplistic for those out there thinking it's simple. And yeah, in some regards, it is simple. It's like walking from your bedroom to your bathroom, right? On a normally that would be fine, all things being equal. But let's say you have gout in your foot, or you have a broken foot, and let's say your crutches are too far away, and let's say you're a single person, or let's say you're a married person and your significant other is at work, which would usually be a 3 minute walk to the bathroom. The fact that you have a hem up foot, it can be a 12-minute journey. Same place, with different situations. In turn, the perspective is different. And I just think some people have to keep that in mind. No matter the most simplistic situation or the most painful situation, it doesn't last forever. And I know that sounds like a trope, a cliche. Two things can be true at the same time. So, yeah, that's an accurate thought if that's a thought that one of you all are having, listening to my voice. But the other thought is, it's true. You cannot fight the process. You have to embrace the process. And that was my perspective that I learned behind the wheel. And a lot of those experiences that I had from just listening and conversing with my clients, that's one thing that I keep in my mind. It's all about the process. You can't cheat the process. And check this out. I didn't try to cheat the process when I was driving. I was just trying to get the client to where they needed to be. So me taking the highway with the normal flow of traffic, but then I had the back roads. One could look at it and say I was trying to cheat the process, but I wasn't, because my perspective was to get the client to where they need to be in the most safest and fastest way. But when none of those routes worked, I didn't get irate. I was a little disappointed, but I always kept the perspective that it was part of the process. Couldn't skip the process. So I had to communicate with the client, even though I may not have wanted to talk to that client, didn't want to be bothered. Because sometimes the client didn't want to be bothered. I had to give him or her an update. I had to inform him or her that, hey, I tried this route, I tried the other route, then I tried the route that you gave me. And even though they can see, if they're paying attention, that we're going to be stuck for a while, they can still be left in the loop. So again, the perspective is you can't cheat the process. And anyone that does ride share from a driver's standpoint or a client standpoint, you understand if you're the driver, you can't control how other people drive. You can't control the weather. You understand all of that is a process. And him or her as the client in the back seat, they understand that you can't force the driver to drive faster. You can't tell them to take that route if he or she does not want to take that route. They feel as though they have a better route. Again, it's all about the perspective behind the wheel. And that was my perspective. Another perspective just from listening, from driving, conversing, was the power of looking at myself first, checking myself first, also known as being accountable for everything that I do, everything that I think, even the process that I may try to expedite. I may not try to skip it, but I may try to expedite it. And also, sometimes part of that process is delayed gratification. That's another thing I learned, getting stuck in rush hour traffic, dealing with clients that had stories that made me be at peace with my decision, with being at peace with the stuff that I was embarking on, or the things that I was trying to accomplish. I mean, it's kind of hard to complain about your own vehicle when a client gets into your vehicle and tell you that their engine just blew and that it costs 4,000 to get fixed. I'm just saying it's different. You know, a parent getting in the vehicle with their young kid, and the kid wasn't able to have anything for their birthday, or they weren't able to see their parents in the morning when they woke up because their parents had to work a double shift. Though I'm not a parent, I was once a child and I had parents. And I was like, well, grateful for all the time we had. Hot meals when I woke up, both of them were there, or at least one was there. So, when you pull into a neighborhood and you see Romulan behaviors taking place, you see fighting, the man fighting the woman, or the woman beating the hell out of her child, or the guy beating the hell out of his son. Now, and in that instances, I'm not gonna say that's necessarily a bad thing, because the youth, they need their ass beat for some of the things that they do, because they're bringing on themselves. And I'm not gonna go on a tangent, but either the parents beat their kids' ass or society gonna beat their ass. Either way, they gonna get it. So that's nothing wrong with that. But again, the power of perspective behind the wheel. You would definitely gain a lot of perspective if you're open to it. If you think you know it all and can't nobody tell you anything and you can't learn nothing from other people, and that you have to literally go through stuff to understand, then it's gonna be a little rough road. Gonna be some turbulence for you, even if you're not in an airplane. Yeah, I just wanted to bring you all this video today. Click the link below. Go and get my book, Memoir of a Former Rideshare Driver. It will help you. It will help a friend. It will definitely help a family member. And if not, it can help an enemy. And most likely, that enemy can become an associate. And if not an associate, a friend. And depending on the nature of the relationship, you all can become lovers. So like, share, subscribe. You can leave a comment below if you have any questions about the video. I'll respond. You all continue to have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.